Welcome to In the Spotlight. So today we will be talking about AI in HR. And we have two guests. Firstly, we have Jason from MSD. He's a global director of AI. Then we have Arnaud from Kingsley Gate Partners. He's a senior partner and the regional leader for Asia. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
So Jason, how do you define AI in HR?
Yeah, I think when we think about AI and HR, often our mind jumps to different things. We might jump to things like, oh, I want to use AI for a use case in HR, like hiring, or I might use AI to automate some sort of operational process in HR. So it is all of those things. But I think just to share that the way we bucket the value of AI is we have AI for insights. So it's basically like using AI methods to see what is driving a certain HR outcome. The second one would be AI for automation. And that would be, all those productivity gains, chatbots, and different ways to apply AI methods to automating business processes. But also we have something more creative like AI for innovation. So new use cases to actually change the way HR works. So those are our three buckets in the way we frame AI in HR.
Thank you. Very interesting. Arnaud, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of qualify what Jason said, which is very good. But also, Jason, you're the expert, and very often in Kingsley Gate, we're an executive search firm. When we talk to clients in HR, they talk about artificial intelligence. But it's really hard to find the difference between what's just a normal algorithm and what's intelligence, so to speak. And I think that's really what the new frontier is going, and that's exciting, I think.
Yeah, that's a very interesting comment because often people struggle with the definition of what is AI versus what is maybe a little if then else statement versus what is like a few rules that someone puts together. And I think when we, that's a very existential question for us, because if something falls into the AI bucket, suddenly our governance team needs to do a lot of extra work. So we are very careful in figuring out what is AI and what is not. So I think when we think about what falls into the AI bucket, it is more than just the method. So some people will say, oh, we'll ask, are you using machine learning? If so, then it's AI. But I think sometimes even that is not sufficient, because you have AI analysts, you have HR data analysts, HR data scientists, and they use these methods in their day-to-day work. And you don't want a case where the moment someone uses something on their laptop, they go through this like massive AI assessment. So besides, questions like, do you use machine learning? We also think about questions like, is your system making an automated decision? Is your system learning without having human intervention? And I think some of these other questions are helpful to kind of qualify what is a more risky, high impact AI system versus just AI as a method. So just wanted to add that in as well.
So the next question to you, Jason, to start with, what are some of the AI-led technologies that are available to HR already today?
Yeah, that's also an interesting question, because I think there are, like, AI is a very kind of fashionable kind of space right now. So there's many new entrants into the industry, and all of them are trying to say that AI for HR is this. And often they kind of like talk about like the common use cases. So some common use cases I encounter are like chatbots to either answer candidate queries or to like internal chatbots for HR operations and so on. There is often AI as the next generation of candidate vetting systems. And I think you would be the expert in this a lot more than me, because you have a lot more candidates than I do. So you have AI for candidate vetting. And also on the automation front, you have more more traditional AI technologies like OCR, optical character recognition that helps an AI system understand like text in resumes and so on. I think these are like the more popular like current HR technologies, but it's also like I think lots of new ones that we see coming over the horizon.
Arnold, would you like to add anything to this?
Yes, so actually, it's interesting. Your answer, Jason, is very interesting because what makes me very excited about AI in HR is that, when we talk to HR practitioners, they often say that they spend too much time on admin issues, and then therefore it doesn't allow them to spend more time on the strategic issues, which is really where HR should be spending that time. And so, all the tools that you described and all the different things, even like OCR technologies. For me, even if they sound pretty, mundane in a way, they are super helpful if they can allow the HR practitioners to free up their time and do the more kind of value-added tasks. So you have, tools like contract management, for instance. You have solutions that allow automation of offer making to candidates. Beyond just DocuSign signing, you actually can have sort of offer generation technologies that are coming up. And that's time that the HR practitioners don't have to spend creating a new offer contract, managing the contract, and that can be done through software. And that allows them to then be more kind of business partners with the business, which I think is the next frontier for HR.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting discussion.